Stay away from those people. They're not ready to love you the way that you deserve. Hello, beautiful women. Today I want to talk about 5 red flags in dating. I've got my notes here, so we're going to have at her. Okay, number 1, they try to get into a relationship immediately. Like way too fast, okay? Now, I think with that, it can feel exciting. It's so nice to be chosen and it can be flattering. But here's the deal. Somebody who wants to get in a relationship with you right away, like, I don't even think you can take that personally. I don't think you can even be that flattered because it doesn't have that much to do with you because they don't know you. They don't know you. Yeah. Women, this is not flattering. This is somebody who has a void to fill and you're just going to be filling the void. And then when you get to know each other, things might blow up. So I think that, you want to have somebody who is slow and steady and you get to know each other and you're calm and you're rational and you take your time and you can start to really see that person. But you want to be watching a man, not listening to him. You want to watch him to see if he follows through on his actions. Anybody who wants to rush you into a relationship, be highly suspicious because I don't know if it's really about you. Um, I think it's really more so about what's happening for them in their lives and what wounding they have, what voids they have, all of that. Like, how could it be personal when they've spent so little time with you? And yes, I think you can definitely get like a lot of information in the first little while, but I don't know. You don't need to rush like that. There is no rush. So why not take your time and yeah, don't be flattered by it. Literally, I think it's not romantic at all. I think it's just dysregulated. Okay, number 2. All right, another red flag is somebody who complains about their ex or about women in general. I would say that like a lot of these are pretty unisex. So I think like for men, if that woman's complaining about men all the time, then that's a red flag for us women too. But yeah, I think that if that person is still complaining about their ex or about women in general, then you will likely end up being their therapist or their punching bag. And I don't think it's very pleasant being either for your spouse. So I would say dodge that one. And maybe you can be kind about it and then, kind of step out and maybe they'll come back 6 months later after they've healed and maybe it'll be a great match, but I definitely don't recommend sitting around waiting for somebody, and I definitely don't recommend being that person's person to just vent to all the time. And I mean a lot of that, like a lot of talk therapy, it has a lot of limitations in terms of actually healing. After a while, you're just repeating yourself and it actually just sort of like reinforces those neural pathways and you're not actually healing anyway. So I wouldn't enable that. It's also really energetically draining for you to get dumped on, which leads to number 3. Red flag number 3 is someone who trauma dumps on you prematurely. Okay. So I think that you can feel really special when somebody opens up to you and you kind of get to play therapist and they tell you something that maybe they've never shared with anybody before. But the thing is that someone who just trauma dumps on you, this is a sign of somebody who is wounded, someone who may end up being one of those. I wish I had a better term for this, but like they might end up being an energy vampire. And I feel like I have met those people, a different version of myself. But like I used to be so flattered when people would tell me things because I just happened to have one of those personalities. Although I feel like now I probably have more boundaries. But yeah, I used to be so honored that people would like random people would tell me things unsolicited and but they would like tell me really heavy things and just dump. And this is like, here's the thing, whether you're religious or not, like hopefully you have some sense of energy. And when someone dumps all of their emotional baggage onto you, that has an energetic load. Yeah, I think after a while you can start to feel that there's like a siphoning of your energy as they're dumping onto you. And this is not sustainable and it's certainly not loving. And it's not part of like like a beautiful reciprocal, like we're holding each other. That's not what this is. This is somebody who's just using you as like a dumping ground for their garbage. And that's not to say that your spouse shouldn't be able to open up to you. I think it's quite different. Um, but somebody, when I experienced this in the past, I'd be like, oh, we're friends. They told me this really intimate thing. And then I would see them once they were done dumping on me, they'd go dump on somebody else and repeat the same story. And I was like, "Oh, no, this is just what they do. This has nothing to do with me. We're not really friends." And I just sat through all of that and gave all that time and energy away for someone who doesn't care about me. The care doesn't go both ways. So this is somebody who, I mean, we don't even need to make them wrong. It's just somebody who's not really ready to reciprocate that kind of love and energy to somebody else because they're so wounded. So stay away from those people. They're not ready to love you the way that you deserve. Number 4, yeah, it's all about them. So, I think we're talking about a lot of people who are just like hurt, but it's a red flag if it's all about them from the beginning. Here's the thing, if it's all about them and, like, everything's on their terms, you have to go over to their place, and they dictate the time, and they don't compromise, they don't pick you up, they don't, you know what I mean? Like, it's about where they wanna go, that's a red flag. Similar red flag is if they're obsessed with you. You can check out my video about why not to make them obsessed with you. Um, I have that video as well. But yeah, you don't want someone who is obsessed with you. What you want is, well, what I would suggest that what you want is to have a calm and steady pursuit. This is where, like, both of your nervous systems are regulated, your logical brain is still online, and you can listen to your heart, and you're not leading from wounding, leading from scarcity, leading from fear, leading from trauma. All of those things are going to create more pain for you. So you don't want to be leading from that place, and you don't want them leading from that place. You want to both be coming at this in a way that's calm and caring for both of you, where that person, you're going like, you know, okay, I'm learning about you. I'm learning about who you are. I'm learning about what you value. And I like those things. And how does that make me feel? How do I feel about those things? And with that slowness, you can actually evaluate in a way that um, you can really feel and intuit whether there is alignment rather than rushing through or just like being reactive from your pain. I think you got at least a better shot if you're taking it slow and you're leading from a place of nervous system regulation. Number 5, this one is maybe a bit more geared towards the ladies, but a red flag is somebody who lacks motivation, okay? If a guy is lazy, if he doesn't wanna work, if he has a bad job, if he keeps getting fired because he has a bad attitude towards authority, just run. Just run. I don't care if he says he's an artist, if he says he's too smart for everybody, and like all of these egotistical things that they say to overcompensate. Like, I don't know, unless you're like that and you want to live that way, that's fine. But if you want stability in your life, if you don't want to live in poverty, if you want to allow your nervous system to calm down because you're not in fight or flight and survival because you don't know when your next meal is going to be, then I would suggest staying away from those men because they'll either use you like a workhorse so that you create the kind of lifestyle that you want because the excuse can easily be, well, I don't want those things. So if you want the new couch, then you can buy it and you can pay for it. I'm happy sitting on this folding chair over here or whatever. So then you end up having to pay for everything. And then, of course, he's gonna use all of the nice things that you buy. But you have to work your butt off, and, because he's okay with a really low standard, he'll contribute next to nothing. So, there's that, or you just end up lowering your standards and living in the squalor that they're accustomed to and comfortable with. I don't know. If that works for you, fine. But I think a lot of us, it doesn't work, and we don't want that. And so I would stay away from anybody who's lazy because 'cause they'll either use you like a workhorse to work and pick up the slack that they leave behind, or you'll end up lowering yourself. And I feel like both of those don't feel very good. So those are 5 red flags in dating. Let me know what you think below. When it comes to dating, I try to come at it in a way that's more on the practical side. I think this is because I'm a mother and, when I was younger, I used to be so much more idealistic and romantic and, I thought, all that mattered was kind of like the inside and loving somebody and that love was the most important thing. And life taught me that all these other practical things actually matter quite a lot. And, at the end of the day, you might love somebody, but But love is only one piece of the pie. And if all the rest of the pie is rotten, that might still leave you hungry. And even that, I was just gonna go with this analogy, that piece of pie of love might rot with all the rest of it. Because how can that just sustain it? So I think you really have to have all these other practical elements on board for a relationship really to work. Love is not enough. And so as much as I would love to just say like love anybody who, and not have these 5 red flags, I just don't think it's sustainable. So I'd love to see you spare yourself the trouble. So, it'd be really fun is if you write down your 5 red flags. I think it'd be really neat to see what you think are really important, whether you agree with these ones. Yeah, that'd just be kind of fun to jam out about it in the comments. Yeah, and if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to come along for the ride, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.